right, St. Louis, about 30 minutes from the house, St. Louis. I want you all to know that I made it here safely, and I want you to know that I truly care about my brothers and sisters, black and white, in the loo and all over. But I want you to understand something that's very important, and that is that we unfortunately are moving relatively slow as it relates to power. Let me explain. Many of you don't realize that there has to be something causing you to be able to operate. You're connected to something, but you can't necessarily feel the connection. In other words, just imagine a remote control car, and you can see the car at a distance and you're able to control it. So technically the car is connected to that remote control that you have in your hand, but there is no wires. It's wireless. So it's like a radio wave that connects the car. The question would be is, what are you connected to? What many don't realize is that we're actually connected to something even though you can't necessarily see it. If you jump up and your feet leave the ground, you think you are no longer connected to something. But you are. It's just that the mind hasn't evolved enough to let you know that you are. The question you must begin to ask yourself, why is it so difficult for us to go beyond 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time to enter into 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th dimensions? The reason I believe this is occurring is because we're not moving as fast as we need to move in order to create a perpetual motion machine, which will allow us to break free from the system in which we are actually connected to. That system is literally being controlled or understood by the laws of thermodynamics. Entropy will increase, chaos and disorder. So we are literally losing sound. We're decaying, our cells are mutating. It appears as though you're physical, but you're not physical. The Bible says flesh and blood can't enter into the kingdom. We took it literal, but it's not literal. Flesh and blood, meaning that low vibration, can't enter into the kingdom which deserve, and there's a tremendous amount of power that's necessary to change the sound. So in other words, if you don't change the sound, flesh and blood external can't enter into the kingdom, which is micro at the molecular subatomic level. So as a result, you're not going to be able to acknowledge and recognize. You have to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dimension. It's just like a supernova that's contracting inward, and as it contracts, it gets so low as it relates to density, it creates a black hole, or wormhole as they call it, which is vacuum fluctuation. We must begin to understand that all is not as it appears. We are so far from a higher level of intelligence that we don't know that that level of intelligence can't even exist because we can't perceive it. For those of you that understand what I'm saying, it's your responsibility to help your brothers and sisters get to this level of understanding so they can become. No one is greater than the next, black, blue, green, and or polka dot. The reason many people have that negative, arrogant, prideful spirit is because they are literally inside of a box. And as a result, the box stands for conservation of energy, symmetrical, and it goes one way, arrow of time, and that's death. So as a result, the mind, the brain, the electrons, etc., are decaying. So as a result, you have no power, and you're being controlled by your undeveloped mind that's being controlled by your inability to know that you are capable of becoming what you don't realize you're capable of becoming. You are capable of becoming Alpha and Omega, which is the perfect sound, the beginning and the end. However, it's imperative that we break out and stop time. The only way you're going to stop time is to understand how time works. Time is an illusion. It's a false perception of truth. As long as you're in time, you're going to literally believe that you are supposed to die. If you can stop time, you can literally warp space and no longer be bound by space and time. It's no different than Basil or Richard Branson, those billionaires that went into space, and when they became close to a certain speed, they went weightless within that spacecraft, and they took their seatbelts off, and they were all floating because of weightlessness. We don't need the mind, or we don't need a vehicle to take us into space to make us go weightless. The only thing we need is our mind. And as your mind reaches a higher level of speed, based upon E equals MC squared, you would literally create antimatter. And everywhere you go, you will change the dimensions of space and time, just your presence alone. The reason that's the case is because you're encoding everything that you see, and everyone's in your world, in your universe. However, we must connect or help all to become this way. And as a result of all becoming this way, we wouldn't have a need for hospitalization. We wouldn't have a need for vaccines. And the reason being is we would all reach a herd immunity of perfection. And as a result, we would literally reverse the laws of thermodynamics. The quantum physics, as you know it, will no longer apply. Moore's law, tunneling would no longer apply, because we will come to the realization that we have finished the course. And that course is we become one with that truth. And that truth is known as God. We must wake up in this season. I'm going to do everything within my power to get you to understand. Even though you don't understand, but you have the capacity to understand. But at the same time, my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. You don't know what you're capable of becoming. So as a result of not knowing, you're not seeking to find, and you're seeking things that are of the world. You will gain this whole world and lose your mind. You must focus on becoming the truth. And that truth will set you free. May God bless you all and give you strength to understand that we are that light. We are that diamond in the rough. We are capable of becoming Alpha and Omega. We are that perfect sound that many know not of. And we shall manifest this truth in our generation. May God bless you all. God bless.